So let's take the comparison further. If Epstein was the front man, then who was standing behind him? And before we even go there, let's say this clearly. What we're about to talk about is theory. Not proven, not confirmed. No official document says there was some hidden mastermind. This is speculation people discuss. But the reason people even ask the question matters. Because when someone operates at that level for that long, people don't just shrug and say, he acted alone. They start asking how. Not in a fantasy way, in a practical way. How does a guy with no official political position, no public company empire, no visible global business brand, move inside rooms full of presidents, billionaires, royalty, CEOs? How does that happen? In Squid Game, the frontman reports to someone. He's in charge, but not fully in control. That's how the show is written. So when people look at Epstein and call him a frontman, what they're really asking is, was he just the operator? Was someone benefiting from him? Was someone protecting him? Now let's slow down. There is no document that says the CIA ran Epstein. There is no official proof that a government was secretly funding anything. Anyone who says that as fact is lying. But the reason the CIA theory pops up is because people look at the timeline and see something strange. Years of allegations. A 2008 plea deal that many legal experts criticized. Investigations that seemed to stall. Connections that reached powerful circles. That creates suspicion. And suspicion creates theories. Now here's the adult way to look at it. Power doesn't always need a secret puppet master. Sometimes protection happens because powerful people don't want their own names anywhere near a scandal. That's not Hollywood. That's reputation management. In Squid Game, the people behind the curtain don't step forward. They let the front man take the heat. If something goes wrong, he's exposed first. That's how hierarchy works in fiction. And in real life? When Epstein was arrested, he was the face. When he died, he was the headline. And a lot of other names faded into the background. That's not proof of a secret boss. But it's enough to make people ask whether he was carrying more weight than just his own actions. Then there's the intelligence angle. Some people speculate that he was gathering information, blackmail theories, compromising material. That's a common internet theory. Again, no confirmed proof of that. But why does that theory exist? Because people struggle to understand how someone built that level of access so quickly. Influence usually comes from something. Money, leverage, information, connections. So when they can't clearly see the source, they assume something darker. Now let's compare that directly to Squid Game. In the show, the frontman has a job. He keeps order. But he answers upward. He doesn't own the entire system. So if someone sees Epstein as a frontman, the natural next question is, was there someone above him? Not necessarily a secret cult, not necessarily a spy agency, but someone who benefited from him staying in place. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. When powerful people surround someone for years and that person eventually goes down, there's often a rush to separate from them. Photos disappear. Connections get downplayed. People say, we barely knew him. That doesn't prove a master plan. But it does show how fast loyalty disappears when exposure hits. Now think about how Squid Game ends. The front man is visible. But the people funding the whole thing? They stay insulated. That's fiction. In reality, Epstein was prosecuted. Ghislaine Maxwell was prosecuted. Some civil cases moved forward. But many names connected socially never faced criminal charges. Does that mean they were all guilty? No. Being photographed with someone isn't a crime. But does it fuel suspicion? Of course it does. Because from the outside, it looks like one or two people took the full fall. And that visual looks very similar to how fictional hierarchies protect the top layer. Now again, important line. There is no official evidence proving a secret intelligence operation ran through Epstein. There is no document confirming government orchestration. There are only theories built on unanswered questions. But unanswered questions are powerful. Because humans hate gaps. And when a case this big leaves gaps, especially around money, influence, and protection, people fill them. Some fill them responsibly. Some fill them wildly. The Squid Game comparison adds fuel because it gives a visual structure to those questions. Frontman, VIPs, hidden backers. So was Epstein the frontman for something bigger? There's no confirmed proof of that. But the reason the question won't die is simple. When someone operates at that level for that long, people assume support. Whether that support was intentional protection, social insulation, or just elite networking, that's where debate lives. And that debate is not going away. Because the visible part of the story ended. But the invisible part? That's where people's imagination keeps working. Not because of supernatural nonsense. Not because of secret triangle cults. But because powerful environments rarely operate in isolation. And when something collapses, it rarely collapses alone. That doesn't prove a hidden boss. But it explains why the frontman comparison sticks. One man took the spotlight, and a lot of other people stepped back into the shadows.